Hello everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we will give you ILTV's latest positive highlights. So get ready to smile, because coming up, an archaeological discovery in the Negev now bringing up a very interesting new question. The Catholic Church celebrates a very long-awaited homecoming, 100% landmine free, and the internet asked, Israeli pilots answered. Stay tuned for a very special message from the Israeli Air Force. Now, following decades of international efforts, the Franciscus St. John the Baptist Chapel is finally landmine-free, and the Catholic Church is understandably celebrating. Hannah Rifkin with the story.
يعني هذا اليوم هو يوم تاريخي. يوم إن إحنا من 54 سنة و3 أيام خسرنا هذا المكان بسبب الحرب، واليوم رجعنا بعد 54 يوم و3 أيام بنصلي في هذا المكان. فهو بالنسبة لنا احنا حراسة الأراضي المقدسة هذا يوم تاريخي إنه رجع هذا الدير، هذا المكان اللي كان في يوم من الأيام يوم حرب، مكان للحرب والدمار، صار مكان للصلاة، مكان واحد سلام، واحد صلاة. فهذا هو أهم شيء في هذا اليوم.
Long since abandoned after the 1967 Six-Day War and the 1973 Yom Kippur War, this holy site, where Jesus himself is believed to have been baptized, is finally reopened for full use. All it took was the concerted international cooperation, including from the Halo Trust, to remove over 6,500 landmines starting in 2018. Then, hailing the incredible moment, the small entourage of priests, Vatican representatives, guests, soldiers, and journalists took part in a historic Sunday Mass led by Father Francesco Patton, the custos of the Holy Land. And this followed by a trip to the nearby Qasr al-Yahud National Park and baptismal site, where millions of pilgrims have come to visit.
احنا على نهر الأردن، هون كمان اتعمد السيد المسيح، هون لحظة معينة جدا في تاريخ المسيحية، في تاريخ السيد المسيح، وهون كمان احنا كمسيحيين بنجدد عمادنا.
Meanwhile, keeping the positive momentum going, the hope is that several other church properties in the area will likewise return to full use, with the help of Israeli roadwork to connect the Israeli and Jordanian sides of the region, especially as the Halo Trust assures that the area is completely clean of any explosives, no matter what the remaining warning signs and barbed wire might say.
Looking back into history again with this next story, an archaeological discovery in the Negev now bringing up a very interesting new question. Who in the world was Maria? This is the new question baffling researchers at the Israel Antiquities Authority following the discovery of an incredible 1,400-year-old stone, and the flat, round Byzantine-era artifact appearing to be a headstone with a Greek inscription text reading Blessed Maria, who lived an immaculate life and died on the 9th of February. Of course, while we may never find out more about Maria herself, her 23-some-odd centimeter headstone offers an important clue to other inquiries in the area. Discovered in the Nitsana National Park in the Negev, Maria's headstone joins others commemorating Christians buried in the churches and cemeteries that have also been unearthed nearby. But unlike the other towns, very little is actually known about the burial grounds near Nitsana. So hopefully this find and inscription could inform Israeli archaeologists as to the boundaries of the cemeteries and by extension the Nitsana settlement itself. Nitsana being renowned as a key site in the transition between the Byzantine and early Islamic periods, especially between the 5th and 6th centuries, where Nitsana served as a sort of city center between the other nearby settlements. It also boasted a military fortress, churches, a monastery, and a road for Christian pilgrimage. And now moving on, have you ever wondered what it's truly like to be a part of the Israeli Defense Forces? Well, the internet asked, and these Israeli Air Force pilots, recently graduated from the 181st class in the Flight Academy, provided their answers. Take a look.
We're graduating from flight course 181 of the IAF.
And we're going to answer your most searched Google questions.
Being an Air Force pilot, how long does it take to become a fighter pilot in the Air Force?
You finish the course after 3 years, and then you do another year of advanced training.
Overall, about 4 years.
To get to the first squadron.
And after that, we move to the next plane, which could be an F-16 or F-15 or F-35. And then we have another few months on that, and then we become
operational. All right, next up.
Are there any female Air Force pilots?
Yeah, there have been a bunch, like 50 that have graduated.
In our course, there are 2 female pilots that are finishing.
How hard is it to be a pilot in the Air Force? That's a tough question.
I think mostly at the beginning, it's the difficult part.
It's a lot of work, but I think that if you like it and if you enjoy what you do, then it doesn't really matter.
At one point, it becomes a way of life, and every day you wake up and you do pretty much the same thing, even though it's very difficult.
I'm enjoying it,
Yeah,
even if
me
it's
too,
hard.
for sure.
What do Air Force pilots do when not flying?
Oh my God, we eat a lot.
We fly only a bit of the day, and there's a lot of free time. It's not necessarily free time because we have a lot of stuff to do in the squadron.
You have a few assignments that you have to do and projects.
One charge of the navigation and the flights and the plane.
We like cookouts and barbecues. That's pretty much it. Watch TV, study, because you gotta study before you fly. What types of pilots are in the Air Force? Oh, that's a good one. So there's fighter pilots, helicopter pilots, and cargo plane pilots.
Navigators,
And flight engineers.
flight engineers, and navigators of transport planes.
But there's also lots of types of pilots. There's some that are funny, some that are annoying, some that are nice. So there are a few types. We're not the same at all.
What is the minimum height for an Air Force pilot?
I think you should take
I don't
this
like
one.
this question. No.
Well, I'm not sure if there's a minimum height,
Yeah,
but
I don't think there's a minimum height.
So I'm 5'0", 5'1", which is like 154 centimeters. And I've never had any problem in like tests and physical tests about my height.
in helicopters, there is a maximum height because at one point you can get too tall for the ceiling and you really have to cram yourself in. But I don't know if anybody was that height and they didn't let him fly.
And now let's take a look at an ILTV interview with an Israeli company that provides compact technology to clean air in small spaces, especially needed during the pandemic.
We've been talking about the vaccines and hoping for an end to this pandemic. But how can we prepare for the day after? How can we get back to public transportation and really feel safe? Can we go into a room without worrying about bacteria lurking in the air? Well, one Israeli company has found a solution. Vuto. They've been working on a solution for smokers in cars, and now they have found the golden ticket solution to keeping the air clean. Joining us now is the advisory board marketing specialist of Vuto, Nimrod May. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me here.
So tell me a little bit about how this works. It cleans the air in the vicinity of the device, correct?
Actually, Vuto is able to clear the entire cabin of a car in less than 7 minutes.
Okay, and we actually have one here. If
Yes,
you'd like to
yes, we do.
show us as you're speaking about it, that would
Absolutely.
be great.
So this is the Vuto. It fits the cup holder and it can connect either to a USB or the lighter in the car.
Okay.
And initially, as you mentioned before, it was designated for car smokers, especially in cold countries where having smoke inside the cabin might be a problem for passengers and for the driver itself. And during the production of and the development of the first product, we realized there's a new guy on the block, an enemy, an invisible one, also known as the COVID-19.
Of course.
And since we were already engaged with several discussions with car manufacturers, they asked us if we can also resolve the COVID problem, which led our engineers and scientists into a very effective work process that resulted in this product.
So you completely flipped your campaign. You completely flipped why you're making this product.
Actually, we got 2 in 1. That's what happened due to the COVID-19. Sometimes you can turn a lemon to a lemonade.
Of course, sure.
And here we are with the first product. This is just about to launch to the market during Q2 2021 that will offer a very safe drive, especially for public transportation companies. So just imagine companies such as, Get or Uber wanting to maintain high safety for their passengers. Each driver can basically put this product inside his car and very easily protect his passengers by filtering the air, as I said, 10 times per hour. But not only filtering the air, basically the Vuto has a unique technology also known as the active shield. And the active shield basically neutralizes the COVID-19 virus. It dismembers the spikes.
Wow.
And I think there's a big message here for the world.
But it's specifically meant for cars, or it's also, it works indoors, inside buildings?
So Voodoo is a technology company specializes in air purification. This is the first product that we're about to launch. This product specifically is dedicated for the car industry. But hopefully in the coming months we will be showing more and more products that are meant for houses, office spaces, etc.
Obviously, you know, hygiene and air purification is going to become a lot more popular. So if our viewers are watching this and think it's really amazing and want to invest in this product, how can they do that?
So I can invite them. There's an ongoing campaign and a crowdfunding platform in Israel called PeopleBees. They can find all the information about the product itself, the technology, the founding team, the business model. And I think it's a great product to invest in.
Wonderful. Nimrod, thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And finally, thinking of what to make for dinner? Well, how about a chicken pot pie with a tater tot crust, or chicken tot pie? Take a look.
We are making a chicken pot pie with a tater tot crust. A tater tot pie? Tater pot pie? Chicken tot pie? I'm not sure, you decide. Anyways, it's really easy and it's the perfect food because I think most people like me ends up with leftover chicken soup every Shabbos. So just strain it out, keep your leftover chicken soup, and we're gonna use it to make this. First thing we want to do, we have a heavy bottom pot here. Also, you kind of want to use a pot that's oven safe so that you don't have to make the mixture and then transfer it to a tin, which you could do, but if you have an oven safe pot, it's really much easier. We're going to start with a little bit of olive oil, just a drop. We're going to go in with our mirepoix, celery, carrots, and onion. And by celery, carrots, and onion, I meant onion, carrots, and celery. That's okay. All right, we're gonna add in a little bit of salt. Now, this is just gonna help the vegetables break down, release their juices, get the party started. A little bit of pepper, and just stir this baby up. We want these vegetables not golden, but soft. All right. Okay, so after a few minutes of stirring and mixing, look, you could already see that the onions have softened, the celery, the carrots, everything is nice and like a little bit more tender, but not too soft. We don't want a mushy chicken pot pie. We want to like bite into the vegetables, and this is also going to continue cooking in the oven, so go easy on it. Now I'm going to add in my zucchini. I wait to do that because it does get very mushy, the zucchini, and I don't like that mushy sliminess that happens. Don't touch the pot with your arm, it burns. Side note. Okay, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of salt, again, for the zucchini. All right, so my zucchini has just begun to soften, which is really as far as we want it to go. Now, I only added in about a tablespoon, maybe a drop more of oil in the beginning. I'm gonna go in with just a little more olive oil because we need some fat here to help the potato starch have something to stick into. So I'm gonna add my potato starch. Now, the second you add your potato starch, you wanna mix vigorously. We want all that starch to cover every piece of vegetable. We want it to soak up all the oil because that's what's gonna help our chicken pot pie mixture become chicken pot pie and really thicken nicely. This way, we don't have to use any non-dairy creamer or anything like that. Just keep it real, keep it yum, keep it wholesome, flavorful. There we go. Okay, so you could see that the starch has really stuck to the vegetables. And now we're gonna go in with our wine. The best part about cooking with wine is drinking the wine. So you wanna use a wine that you're willing to drink. It doesn't have to be the most expensive bottle in your cabinet. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but it should not be like nothing labeled cooking wine. If it says cooking wine, you do not want to use it. You want to use something that's good enough to drink. All right, so just go into your vegetables, mix it up. Sip for the cook. Get it all in there. One more sip if you really want. That's good wine. Okay, look. Can you guys see that? It's not like flour, so it's not going to be white and thick traditionally like if you were using flour, but look at it. It's already thickened. Yum, this is so exciting. Okay, at this point now, we're going to add in our chicken stock. And by chicken stock, I mean leftover chicken soup that's been strained. I feel like this time of year, everybody has that lying around somewhere. Just pour that baby in. Give it another good mix, bring it up to a boil. Now, you can also use stock in a box. That's totally fine, acceptable. I use that stuff all the time. It's a really good shortcut. Just know that, like, if you don't know the amount of salt in that, you should be careful adding in your salt, and you should keep tasting it, because every brand of stock in a box does have a different level of sodium. So you want to keep that in mind when you're seasoning everything. Okay, while this mixture is coming to a boil, we're gonna go in with our chicken. Now, I put a whole chicken in my chicken soup every week. One chicken cut into 10, no skin. That's my standard order every week for chicken soup. I always have chicken left over. So if I was making chicken pot pie, I would use my chicken stock, I would use my chicken, I would shred it up, and I would just chop up new vegetables. But if you don't have chicken left over from your soup, you can do what I did today. And you could just put a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, roast up the chicken, and then just shred it by hand. That's it. Now, here's the thing about chicken pot pie. It's chicken pot pie. Don't be skimpy on the chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want a piece of chicken in every single bite. So really make sure you have a good amount of chicken. That's my own personal feelings, but do what you like, I guess. Oh, you know what else is really good? Before you even start this whole process, if you have like the kosher bacon, the beef bacon or lamb bacon or duck bacon, and you first saute it up in the pot before you put in any oil or any vegetables, then you take out those crumbled up bacon bits and you saute your vegetables in that, and you add in those bits at the end now with the chicken. That's so delicious also. There are really so many things you could do with chicken pot pie. You could take it in tons of different directions. That's what I really, really like about it. It's fun. Okay, so just finish shredding up the chicken and just start adding it into your pot. Like I said, be generous with your chicken because it's chicken pot pie. Add that baby all in. Oh my God. Do you see that? How it's already starting to thicken? Can you guys see? 1 second, I'm gonna, look at that. Look at that mixture. That is a chicken pot pie. It smells so good also. Yum. Okay. This is really, really delicious. Okay, that's it. It's done. It's thickened, it's come to a boil, it's gonna go in the oven now. All we have to do is top it. Traditionally, it's topped with like a pie crust of some sort or puff pastry, but we're going gluten-free today, guys. So we went with potato starch as a thickener, and now we're gonna top it off with our tater tots. The only thing I did with these was that I baked them off halfway because they're gonna bake again in the oven. I wanted to give them a little bit of a head start. Since this has a head start, I want them at the same cooking rate. So I baked them halfway. Now I'm gonna shut off my flame. Click. And I'm gonna start topping my tater tots. Oh my God. I mean, what could be better than like creamy chicken soup, chunks of carrots and celery and onion, all scooped up with a yummy tater tot? Nothing. Nothing could be better. That's actually why I decided to leave the potatoes out of the chicken pot pie recipe, because it was just too much, I felt like. You know what I mean? But you can be crazy. You can add peas to this. If I was doing it with peas right now, before I tossed the tater tots, I would just add a bag of frozen peas. That would be so, so yummy and so delicious. You could put in sweet potato. Actually, I feel like I wouldn't like that, but if you like it, go with the sweet potato. You could add in butternut squash, really any vegetables you like. Okay, let's go. Make it pretty. Oop. Lost one little guy.
There we go. Round it out. You could also like do this in any decoration you like. You don't have to, it doesn't have to spiralize like mine. There we go. I just want as many tots as possible because I feel like nobody wants to eat one without a tot. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. Okay, and there we go. Now I'm gonna take this, pop this in a 350-degree oven. That's 180 Celsius. And we're good to, oh, last minute, because I do like when my things get like brown and pretty, I just have a little bit of paprika. I'm just gonna sprinkle it right over the top. I don't know, I just think it makes it brown really nicely. Okay, now that my finger's been dyed red, legitimately, I don't know, I gotta remember to wear gloves when I do things like that. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the oven and I'll be right back. And 45 minutes later, you have the most beautiful gluten-free chicken tot pie, I guess we'll go with that, you've ever seen in your life. Look at this baby. All right, gotta go in for a bite. You could use a small spoon, but that's not gonna work for me. Just go, oh my gosh, oh my, look at that, look at that. Look at that ooey gooiness. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Gotta get a little bit of the tater tot, a little bit of the chicken, a little bit of each vegetable. It's very hot, I'm nervous. Here we go. This is comfort food. After a long day, this is what I wanna come home to. I wanna come home to something hot and creamy and soul satisfying. It's crunchy from the tater tot. You get all that chickeny flavor. The paprika on top just adds like this extra beautiful look. And the wine, oh my gosh. It just adds the perfect level of acidity to this. The flavor is so balanced, so well-rounded. It's really, really good. This is one of my husband's favorite dishes of all time. I really hope you all get to make it and enjoy it as much as we enjoyed it in my house. And just have an awesome, awesome dinner.
All right, that's all for today's Good Week Israel. I hope that we've helped you start your week with a smile. I'm Aaron Forrest. See you next week.